Jeff Goldblum.
Filmmaker. Steven Spielberg is a consummate filmmaker and loves what he does. And we were shooting the very last shot on the schedule, which is a retake of Lord Richard Attenborough sitting on the counter of the Airstream trailer, raising his champagne glass and toasting Sam and Laura. Now, normally Steven, and Jeffrey will attest to this, Steven would do maybe 7 takes maximum of every shot. And he'd print one and we'd move on. So we do 2 takes, 4 takes, 7 takes, 10 takes, 15 takes. This is a shot of Richard Attenborough raising his glass. He's not even saying anything. 17 takes. Finally, take 20, I grab Steven by the arm and I say, Steven, enough. He says, you don't understand, this is my drug. He wouldn't let go of directing. And you have to remember, in 6 weeks, he's going to be directing Schindler's List. It's not like he's retiring. So it's a testament to what a consummate filmmaker he is.
I think the first, we shot in Kauai, Hawaii, for the first 2 weeks, famously, and there's much to say about that. But I believe the first time I saw a Stan Winston animatronic dinosaur was in the scene with the Triceratops. Yep.
The sick Triceratops.
Sick Triceratops. Yep. You remember it, and Jerry Mullen, of course, who was another big producer on that movie, played the veterinarian, and then we go up to it. It's where I believe I say that's one big pile of shit. Right?
That is correct.
That was the next day, but that's that scene, isn't it? That's kind of that sequence. And then we came upon that thing, and of course it's not on the back lot of Universal where we shot most of the rest of the movie, but in what is the natural, what looks like, I guess, what's supposed to be Costa Rica, or anyway, it looks very authentic. And you'll know better than I do, the puppeteers, or whatever they're called, the master craftspeople, 7 or 8 of them, as I remember, were hidden in some kind of bunker underneath. So the actors, when we went up to that thing, we saw a life-size Triceratops, for heaven's sakes, breathing and blinking and doing everything, and it was absolutely breathtaking and stunning. How about that?
It's incredible. It moved just like a live animal.
12,000-pound puppet.
Right. And there was no delay from the time they moved the Waldo to the time the T-Rex moved. When you see the movie, none of that is sped up. That is actually moving as quickly as it appears when you see the T-Rex attack. It was the most incredible job of engineering and puppetry I have ever seen and ever will see, and you will ever see.
Go ahead, sorry. But all of my movements in that first one are sped up in post-production. I could never move as quickly as I was in that first movie.
Never again. Well, while I have you, you read a book that had a character in it, Ian Malcolm, and you went through a process of deciding how you were going to bring this character to life. And what were some of the things that you thought about before you even stepped onto set with this guy?
That's a very interesting question. Did I ever tell you that where I told you that story where?
Well, you didn't tell them.
But I'm sure they've heard, because I've told this story where I had a meeting with Steven Spielberg, in his office somewhere close to here. Yeah, and I'd read the book, and by the time we had the meeting, he said, there's a new draft of the script where your character is eliminated. Your lines are kind of taken up by Alan Grant, and I kind of made a pitch, and anyway, I got in the movie. But
just a little bit, you got in the movie.
Yeah.
Can I? I'm sorry. I have to mention to you guys something that I've always wanted to tell Jeff for 25 years, which is when you see the scene where they're in the Jeep and they're just before they get to the Triceratops and he's doing the chaos theory sequence, and then Sam gets out and then Laura gets out and he says, and here I am by myself and that's chaos. See, I'm proving it. It seems like he's making those lines up. Jeff is the most unique actor I have ever worked with, and I have worked with thousands of actors. He is the only actor I know who you think is making up the words. He makes them his own. And those words are absolutely scripted, but you would never know to watch the film. So thank you, Jeff.
Thank you so much, Don Kretschmer. Wow. High praise indeed, but you know.
It's something I'm very envious of as a writer, in that, you know, we write these new films, but when you watch Jurassic Park, so much of that dialogue is from Crichton. It's from the book, and most of your iconic lines are from Crichton, and or you. Or David Kemp, who wrote that film.
Although
it's
look at
amazing
this
how
pile
much.
of shit, I think was his line.
That was you.
Yeah, I think that was you.
That sounds like you. But it's like, it puts anyone, you know, for us writing these films, it puts us at a great disadvantage to not have Crichton's dialogue in the movies. I think it's underestimated, like how much of a massive help it is to have someone so brilliant contributing to the script. What were, you know, as you stepped into that character, did he help just define it for you?
Yeah. I mean, not him. I didn't talk to him,
right.
But yes, that book, and I kept referring to the book. But I think playing that, to answer your question, I think playing that part then as it was in our movie, the one you just wrote that I have a little part in this next movie coming out. The most provocative things are the questions that are really that character addresses, like in the first movie, and now 25 years later. Like, you know, with this power, you know, where does science, you know,